All right, folks, Fantasy Football Island. Tito, Jeff Thidoff with you at That Happens. He is Chad Rink at Chad Ocho Rinko, both of us on Twitter there. We are on Fantasy Sports, powered by DSP Media. And download the app. It's free. You can download that free for Apple and Android users. Go check that out. And Fantasy Draft Proxies is our sponsor, and we will be talking about them because I've already got a few drafts in the books that I did this weekend, Chad, for people that could not attend their drafts. Go to fantasydraftproxies.com. Chad and I do drafts. Jim Temple does as well, our longtime listener and friend. He does that also, but you can hire experts to either just do your draft or also run your team, depending on what you need. But good to see you, Chad. How are you today, my friend?
I am outstanding. It's a beautiful, beautiful day here in Columbus, so glad to be in the studio.
Great studio. Love the studio. I am living here now is essentially what's happening. It is awful for my liver, but it's great for everything else associated with me. So, like I said, Chad, I did a few drafts this weekend, and they were all different. One was like an 8-team draft where they had some keepers. One was a redraft 10-team league, and then one was a 12-team auction. So I got a fill of everything this weekend. And interesting, I always take notes on these things so I can get stuff. I got more drafts coming up this week. I know you have some this weekend, I think, maybe. Do you have any yet?
One this weekend,
one this weekend so far. So we'll start picking up big time with that. But you wanted to start off here today talking about what you called, and I love the way your rhyming is always on point, musts and busts. Not musty and busty. That's a different podcast we do on the weekends after midnight, but musts and busts. What do you want to start with here?
That's a pay one also.
Yes, and also, yes, there's a much different paywall on that one, but we don't keep the information.
Right. So with the must and bust, it's everybody's got their like my guys, their flag plants. So with us being the Fantasy Football Island 80s theme, I kind of go with our musts, which I'll call our cool it now guys for all you new edition fans, because Ronnie, Bobby, Ricky, and Mike, if I like the guy, who cares who you like? So let's start with those, and then we'll dive into our bust, which I call our poison guys because of Belle Biv DeVoe of New Edition. They're guys that, for whatever reason, could be fantasy poison on your team. So let's dive into our Cool It Now guys.
Okay.
So who do you have as a Cool It Now guy?
Well, I am seeking out Bijan Robinson whenever I can get him. And Jamar Chase is somebody who is going number one overall in PPR. In PPR drafts, a lot of time he's going number one. Either he or Bijan are going. But if I have my choice, I'm taking Bijan in that scenario. Not that Chase won't have a big year. I think he will. He may have a similar stat line he had last year. I just think that Bijan, for me, it's harder to have. If you give me Bijan and the first receiver I take, I would take that versus Jamar and the first running back I'd take, if that makes sense.
It does, and I agree. I was just in the draft. It was with buddies of mine and then our kids, people from church, the youth group and stuff like that. So, and we got to pick. It was a good idea. Here's a good idea. If you're hosting and you don't want to just make a bunch of food or pay for a bunch of food,
right? Have
everybody come to the draft and then start everybody DoorDashes.
Okay.
And then whoever gets the first DoorDash can pick where they want to go and just go in order like that. So it was kind of fun. My son and he was working, so we were later, and I said, I don't really care where I draft. So yeah, I ended up getting the two because I knew the guy was going to take Chase first, so I could get Bijan, and I was very happy with that. So I am with you, Bijan and a receiver. I get at the end of the second. I do like better than Chase, and then what running back could be there.
Yeah, those are the guys I like. And as far as quarterbacks go, I'll back up a little bit. Let's talk about another running back still that I also like. I keep on saying this, but if he falls to the right spot, McCaffrey's a must for me. If he falls enough, I really hope though, Chad. I hope I don't have to make that decision. I hope that he is gone and the decision's made for me. Because if he falls far enough into the first, or if God forbid early second, it's going to be tough to turn it down.
Yes, because a healthy CMC could win you the league.
Yeah.
If he is there in the second, I cannot pass him up. Even late first, if you're talking CMC with Neighbors, Brian Thomas, then I'm going to it just depends on what I want to do. But CMC, I do like at the right price. And I think you'll get him at the right price because you can't always get a league winner of that magnitude on that. But I will kind of dive into another running back that I just love this year. I love
the fact we have a draft coming together against each other. It's fantastic that we're right now giving away our own secrets.
But it's okay because I don't have a first or a third round pick. So
standard.
So I am going out of my way to get Chase Brown.
Okay.
I love Chase Brown this year. From week 9 on, he was the RB8.
Yeah.
He did finish as the RB10. And if you look over the last 3 years, Bengal running back Joe Mixon finished RB6, RB10, RB4. No real competition for his touches. He is using the passing game. He had 54 receptions, but 38 of them were in week 9 and on after the Zach Moss fiasco. They decided, hey, Chase Brown is just better. And I think he can be a true workhorse back on a top 5 scoring offense. So I have no problem taking Chase Brown anywhere in the second. He's kind of creeping up now, middle second. You used to be able to get him end of second, early third. I have no problem if I'm at the end of the first. I don't mind taking him at the turn anywhere, but I am like, he's my second round pick.
And by the way, if you've listened to other shows we've done, and we've done a few of these now, if I contradict myself, don't bring it up to me. Because as I started to look at this guy, I did more research on this guy that I want to bring up. He's turned into a must for me if the value's right. And I honestly, Chad, I don't know if I've downplayed this guy in previous podcasts. So like I said, what I'm saying right now, the truth is now. Whatever I say today, that's the new truth. I know my truth. But this guy rushed last year for almost 1,200 yards. 4.78 yards a carry. Also caught 43 passes. Scored a total of 11 touchdowns. Chuba Hubbard. I think that in the past I may have said, oh, Chuba Hubbard. No. First of all, he's part of that group. Like we have people that we think they're a lot older than they are. If you would have told me Hubbard's going to be 30 this year, I said, yeah, that's probably right. I think he's going to be 20. I think he's 26.
He is 26.
Yeah. And so I think I like Chuba this year. I think you can get good value on him too. So that would be a must if the value falls correctly for him.
I agree because I was never a big Chuba guy.
So much we called him Chubba. You weren't sure. We weren't sure for a long time if he was Chuba or Chubba, but now he's earned the Chuba respect.
He has earned the Chuba respect.
Yes.
And he was a huge waiver wire pickup for everybody last year. He's a workhorse back. He's not a sexy pick. He's a guy, my brother and I were talking last night. He's one of those guys. He's not a sexy pick, but he's a solid pick. And right now he's going as the RB18.
Amazing.
And like pick 45. So you're looking 4th round, Chuba Hubbard. I do not mind that at all. I think that offense is going to be a lot better this year. And there's really no competition. The rookie, it's Brooks.
Yep.
He's still banged
Jonathan
up.
Brooks, yeah. He can't stay healthy, yeah.
And they're going to, I think, have to run the ball. So I don't mind that at all for where you're getting him. So let's switch to, I have got 2 other running backs. You want to stay on the running back train?
Sure, go ahead.
This is one, and this is the one I think that I'll get a lot of pushback on with like the experts. Not that we're not experts.
Right, the other experts.
Yeah. Because everybody is in love with Kenneth Walker III, KW3, for those of you that know him well. Which, spoiler alert for my busts, I love Zach Charbonnet. Zach Charbonnet finished as the RB17. He only had 117 touches last year, and which was ahead of Kenneth Walker, who had 20 more touches. Kenneth Walker's injury history is crazy. Go look it up. It is all lower leg. He's had groin. He's had these weird ankle injuries.
Right.
He's dealing with a foot injury now. He has never been healthy. I think if he misses significant time, Charbonnet is a guy to get. If you combine the 2 of them last year, they would have had 288 carries, a little over 1,100 yards, 15 rushing touchdowns, 88 receptions, over 600 yard receiving, and 2 receiving touchdowns. That would have given him 368.1 fantasy points. You know where that would have put them last year?
Pretty damn high.
Top 3.
Yeah.
Depending on what the scoring is, but it could have went to. So I'm not saying that Kenneth Walker is going to miss the whole year. However, a running back kind of needs their feet.
Yes.
So if it's a lingering, nagging injury, I think Charbonnet could be huge. He's being drafted as the RB 34. So why not take a flyer on a guy where that offense is going to utilize the running back?
Right.
And the guy ahead of him is injury prone. Plus, they use them both enough that Charbonnet is not going to just be a waste.
Is he your biggest must handcuff among all running backs? If you have Kenneth Walker, I'm saying, if you have K-Walk, if you have him for whatever reason, whenever you drafted him, and Chad's going to tell you shouldn't have drafted him in the first place, but I've got him in a keeper league also that I'm in. But in a dynasty league, I should say keeper. He would not be a keeper. He's a dynasty guy. Anyway, is that your most must-have handcuff
I think,
as a running back?
I think so, because with Jordan the other one would be, I think, Garendo,
right,
for the Niners, because he showed he had a little bit of pop in him last year, and with McCaffrey's injuries, I think those are the two. I'm not a big handcuff guy anymore,
right?
Just because I think it's a wasted roster spot.
Yep.
And then you're kind of like hoping maybe your guy gets injured, which you never want. So, but I think those two, because it has to be, if you're getting a handcuff for your running back, it has to be for an offense that just leans heavily on the running back and only has one running back, like the Rams,
right,
with Kyron Williams. We just don't know who their backup is,
right?
And you could probably get them on free agency. So those are the ones, an offense that can just lean on one running back, and it's a good offense that he should seamlessly go in. Not that anybody's going to be CMC,
right?
But there's going to be touches for that handcuff.
Yep, I think you're right on that. I was trying to think about that. Is that the most? Yeah, that might be the most. Yeah, if you have Walker. Yeah. Because if you have Walker, I mean, you look at injury prone running backs, right? Walker and CMC are the ones that are most likely, right, to miss some time maybe right now. As far as we know Mixon's going to miss some time. Right. We know what's going to happen. So, Chubb isn't really a handcuff at this point. Chubb would be Nick Chubb would be the starter now, right? This kind of thing. But yeah, if you're going to those drafts, I think that's what you're looking at.
Well, I think Charbonnet also has, even if Walker is there, he can get you 9 to 10 points in a week, because he could just get a random touchdown.
Sure, yeah.
So
I don't consider Caleb Johnson handcuff for Jalen Warren. I think they're both going to get touches in there. They're both going to carry the ball, so I don't think that's really a handcuff necessarily.
No, I don't.
All right. What do you want to go next?
I think I have Dak Prescott on our list, but we've talked a ton about Dak Prescott. You know where we stand. He's my one quarterback that I'm really targeting, and I don't think we need to talk about him. Did you have anybody else? I got one more running back and another receiver.
All right, do your running back first.
All right. And I don't like it, even though I'm a Bears fan.
Hey, look, I like this guy this year.
DeAndre Swift.
Yes.
And here is why. He's another guy that's younger. He's like 26.
Okay.
Under Ben Johnson at Detroit, their rushing attempts as a team finished, starting last year, working back 3 years, 3rd, 7th, and 13th.
Okay.
The Bears' offensive line is much improved this year. Last year was the only year that DeAndre Swift averaged less than 4 yards a carry. Mm-hmm. The Bears, like, people want to say, well, Ben Johnson's going to run the Thunder and Lightning, whatever. Right. The Bears don't have David Montgomery on their roster. They did, and his name was David Montgomery, but they got rid of him. So, like, Roschon Johnson is not David Montgomery. Kyle Mongai, 7th round pick, not David Montgomery. I do kind of like him, but Roschon Johnson hasn't shown me much. I think DeAndre Swift can get 250 plus carries. He had like 40. He's good out of the backfield too. And he played for Ben Johnson before.
Right.
So he knows him, and I think he can get 250 carries. The 1 year Jamal Williams was there when DeAndre Swift was there. DeAndre Swift had 99 carries. Jamal Williams had like 260. So he has no problem giving it to one guy. And I think DeAndre Swift can be that guy this year. And he's going as the RB24.
Okay.
So I kind of like him at that price.
Somebody else I like. It's not somebody you're going to get early in the draft. You're waiting. You're waiting on this guy. And I know that the RB1 in this team had one of the best years, if not the best year of his career this past year, James Conner. I like Trey Benson a lot. I think that Connor, I'm not You know, we talk about the carries and the miles on guys, how many miles they got on their tires and all that. And sometimes just looking season to season, sometimes looking at age and wear and tear in that way. Connor was great last year. Benson averaged in the limited time, I think he had like 63 carries or something like somewhere in the 60s. Average, like 4.7 yards a carry almost, something like that. Look good. He's 6 feet tall. He's 216 pounds. He's 23 years old. I think that Benson's somebody who I am targeting very late in drafts that I can get and I think could have some use second half of the season.
I totally agree. I do like Trey Benson a lot as well. He just has a little pop. And here, if you are drafting in those late rounds, I'm more of a don't go get a backup tight end. You don't really need a backup quarterback. Kickers and defense should be drafting the last 2 picks anyways.
That's so interesting coming from you.
Yes, I know. But I love kickers, but
I know you love
draft them appropriately.
Yes, I know.
Unless it's Rodrigo Blankenship, then
you got to get him early.
Number one.
You got to make sure you get him early.
Which, side note, NFL, like owners, like, why is Rodrigo Blankenship not in the NFL? Get on it.
Here we go.
But Trey Benson, like, you want to take guys late that have that upside more than just like safe picks. You want to take your shots in the dark late on guys like Trey Benson, rookies that make, like, you look about it, rookies that don't have like a clear path. Like Bucky Irvin didn't look like he had a clear path last year, and he was probably a top 10 running back.
He sure was
at the end of the year. So that's who going. I love Trey Benson. I think that offense is going to be a little bit better. So it's weird. We're just all on running backs here. So I have one receiver, and it's like my weakest one of all, but it could pan out for you. Is 4th last year in yards per reception.
Okay.
With significant, like some guy had 1 for 68 yards. I mean, but 4 with people with significant amount of receptions. He's on a top 3 scoring offense.
Oh, okay.
He's being drafted as the wide receiver 49.
49.
Amari Cooper is gone. Keenan Coleman.
Ooh.
2nd-year receiver.
Keenan Coleman, yeah.
Somebody I like Shakira also, and they're both right on the same spot, but I just feel that the Bills, we've talked about in an earlier podcast, top scoring offenses usually produce their number 1 receiver as a top 12 receiver. Yep. I think Keenan Coleman can make that jump up. I trust the talent. I think he's better than Shakur, and why not take a chance on a wide receiver 49? I'm not saying like as your wide receiver 1.
No, but yeah.
Don't wait that long. However, like those are the guys you want to take chances on good teams that you hope he emerges as the clear go-to guy.
Yeah. Yep. That's a good one there. Yeah. Keon Coleman, it was interesting seeing where he went in some of the drafts I did. And certainly, yes, you get value on him. No doubt about it. We've talked a lot about Emeka Egbuka, because who knows what can happen with Chris Olave, who's still got, another procedure, which I got to find out the difference between procedure and surgery. I don't know what it is, but he had a procedure though over the spring, a second one. And Egbuka caught his first touchdown pass in the NFL in the exhibition game against Pittsburgh. Looked really good in that game. And I think that's somebody who I like quite a bit, who I'm probably targeting a little bit there. Diggs in New England's a fun one to watch. He's always produced. It's just, it's a question of, and people want to talk about his craziness. He's not Antonio Brown crazy. He's not that kind of crazy. He's not Ocho Cinco eccentric either. It's just, yes, he does have some issues somewhere here and there, but I still think he's somebody who I would look at and target.
Yeah, I like Diggs. He's always been a talent, and my wide receivers and my starting DBs, I want a little diva in them.
You absolutely have to. Yes,
they need to have that, and so I like Diggs. Again, I think that offense is going to take a step forward with Vrabel there.
Yeah,
like it's just going to bring stability, and I think Diggs is a sneaky one, even at his age. And I love Egbuka. I am drafting Egbuka like probably 2 rounds earlier than I should. Did you hear Baker talking about him?
Oh, yeah, he loves it. Loves him.
He does. And I just, you got an aging Mike Evans and then an injured Chris Godwin. They're going to find ways to get Egbuka the ball.
They are absolutely going to do that, yes. And another guy that I targeted him this weekend in the 3 drafts, the 3 things I did. But because I think you got to get him now at a discount. A little hard now because off the PUP list, but Terry McLaurin in Washington, I think you can still get really good value on him if you're drafting very soon before he gets the contract signed. I think he's going to be out there playing for the season. It might be limited action, maybe out week 1 or whatever. But I'm telling you, he's going to. What else is he going to do? He's going to play. He's going to play this year, and he is a number 1 receiver.
Absolutely, and you're getting him like you could get him as your wide receiver 3.
Yeah, which is great. Yeah. Which is great. You mentioned Dak Prescott before, and not to beat the Dak Prescott, not to bang the drum any louder. We've already done that, but that one scenario we talked about, we were doing the stack talk. I did take Pickens, and then later on got Prescott. And the one I was in, the 10 or 12, I can't remember. Anyway, when it comes to the 6th round, it had to be the 12th one. No, I don't know, the 10th round, whatever it was. It was in it would get to the pick. I've taken George Pickens. I do not have a quarterback yet. Baker Mayfield is still on the board. And I passed on Baker and took another like a flex kind of player in there that was going to start. And then in the 8th round, I took Dak, and I'm happy with that. I know Baker's probably the better play this year. The safer play this year is probably Baker. But I love the chance of having the Dak and George Pickens combo. And then, like we talked about before, if you can do that, you can get Jake Ferguson, maybe as a tight end later on. But yeah, so I waited on Dak, but Dak is still somebody I'm absolutely targeting. I'm trying to. Is there a quarterback out there that you are actively seeking out and saying, you know what, I really want to have this guy?
Not actively seeking out. It's so funny because in the draft I did with my kids and stuff, it was a 12 team, and it was like it's $10. This is the first year we're paying, so
right.
I'm sitting there, and I had already taken Pickens, and so it's coming back to me in the 8th round, and my one buddy's son, who's like Xander's best friend, Ian, like looks at me, he's like, "Hey, are you going to take Dak on one of your next 2 picks?"
Right.
And I'm looking, and I couldn't lie to him because I've known Ian since like 3rd grade.
It's a damn church league too. You can't lie.
Church league, no. Exactly.
That's why I can't do church leagues. I would be so deceptive, especially with kids. Are you kidding me?
No, and it's
for money,
right? But although like I have a podcast, so I got to like show out in this league, or they're going to make fun of me.
Right.
So I said I was looking at it, and I was like, I'm taking him in one of these 2 picks. So I said, if you want Dak, you need to take him now. And he did. And then I'm like, so then I get to the point where it's like, at that point, I didn't care.
Right.
And so, and they're all making fun of me. It was like the last 2 picks, like, I still need a quarterback. And I'm like, Herbert was there. Bryce Young was there. Fields was there. There were still quality guys there.
Right.
And I think, I don't know if I wasn't paying attention, they all looked at each other and decided like, they just started taking quarterbacks in the 2nd to last round. And I'm like, all right. And I almost, because it's a fun league, I'm like, I'm going to take Shedeur Sanders and start him all year, whether he's playing or not, just to show you guys what I can do. I didn't have the balls to do that. So I took our boy, hashtag Penix Envy.
Oh, yeah, that one. Yeah. You mispronounced it. But yeah, I see, if I was in a church league like that, a couple things. First of all, if you're not serving wafers and wine for the food, you guys did it wrong. Also, I would take a stack of Bibles with me. And anytime I would ask somebody a question like that, you take a Dak, and if you say, I'd put the stack out there. Just tell me.
Okay. Here, I got a funny church league story, and then we can go to our poison guys.
Okay.
So I'm in the church league, and on Sunday, I've got like 4 different text chats. Like my one son's texting me. If he's not over at the house watching, you're texting me. My one league's texting me down in Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. Dave, my buddy down there, is texting me. So, and I don't know, I was watching the game, and it was one game where McPherson like just drained like a 57-yard field goal.
Right.
And I just was going to text my buddy like McPherson beast. And for whatever reason, because it's Dave, and I usually try not to swear. I'm never going to swear on this, because if like my wife, my kids, my mom watches, I just was like on the text, I decided to add a little like
flavor,
a little adjective that begins with an F.
All right, yeah,
ends with ing. Put McPherson
firing
effing beast.
Okay,
and then I sent it to Dave. Or I thought I sent it to Dave.
Oh, you went to the church chat,
and then he didn't respond after like 20 minutes, and then I get a response, and it's just like 4 thumbs down.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, oh, that was the church league. And this is the first year I was in the church league. I thought I was going to be done. And I just owned up to like, listen, I shouldn't have said that, use that language. I thought I was going to my buddy. My bad. I just owned up to it. And then I owned up to it so much that next week for like 3 weeks, I changed my name to the effing beasts.
There you go.
I didn't use the word, but then I put McPherson's picture on it. We're all good. I'm still in that league.
Right.
So, but it's just like, be careful. Like, Don't press send.
We all do that once. It doesn't happen again. I would have said to the guys, look, I'm sorry, I should use that language. That was so shitty of me. That's what I would have said. But that's just me. We're cut with different cloth.
I should have blamed it on Emily. Emily had grabbed my phone.
Yeah, right. Damn autocorrect. All right, busts. Yeah. Your poison. The Belle Biv DeVoe version of this.
DeVoe. So these are the guys. They could be poisoned because of where you have to draft them or just lack of production. So as Belle Biv DeVoe said about the girls with poison, these poison guys. So these are guys that you don't want to trust. You don't want to trust a big butt with a smile.
Right.
So my first one, I'm just going to dive into it. Kenneth Walker III. Yep. I like him as a player and as a talent. He would be, if he did not have these injuries, he would be so high on my list. I really like him. He's just an injury waiting to happen. Talked about it. And here's where he's going. Here are the other guys around there. Marvin Harrison Jr., Jalen Hurts, George Kittle, your boy Terry McLaurin, Devonta Adams, Mike Evans. The running backs around there, Chuba Hubbard, James Conner, Travion Henderson, RJ Harvey, and then a little bit later you can get Swift Pacheco. I think I like I would rather have all those guys than Kenneth Walker.
I think I would too. I think that's a good call by you. Yeah. I think the other running backs you look at too.
It's a good call by me.
It's not bad. It's shitty. But a couple of the other running backs that we've talked about a lot though, that we're not going to take them at where they're at, because I don't believe when it's all said and done this year, Barkley and Derrick Henry are top 5 running backs. I just don't think they're going to produce that way, and that's where you've got to take them as a top 5 running back, if not top 3, if you want those guys. And I would much rather at that point, if those are your best options on your first pick as far as the running back goes, I'm probably taking a wide receiver and then going with another running back in the second round or something if you want to do that, or go back-to-back wide receiver if you want to, and then start picking off running backs later on. But I want no part. I don't want to walk out of any draft that I'm doing with Barkley or Henry on my roster.
I don't either. Like you said, you have to take a first-round pick. Barkley's sliding down a little bit. I think the only running backs I really would like to take in the first are Bijan and Gibbs. I may take a flyer on McCaffrey at like 11, 12.
Right.
But I would rather have Neighbors, Thomas, St. Brown, London, and pair them with Chase Brown.
Yeah.
Even Jonathan Taylor, Josh Jacobs.
Yeah.
I'd rather have any of those guys than Henry and then whoever else. So I am with you on that as well.
Are you staying away from Kamara?
He's technically on my list because I have my number 4 is like any New Orleans Saint.
Yeah.
But Kamara, I don't understand. Like, he's going off the RB15. If you go on any Instagram, people are loving Kamara. I'm like, okay, number one, he's never had a 1,000-yard rushing season.
Sure.
Yeah. He's been good, but that's when the Saints were good. That's when they had Brees was there for a little bit.
Yeah, the guy named Drew Brees,
and they had a decent coach there too.
Yep.
So I cannot see taking Kamara at 15, like 37. He's a 4th-round pick.
Right.
Give me Travion Henderson over Kamara. That offense is going to be so bad. So it's Kamara, Olave, all those guys. So it kind of covers that safe zone. But yeah, I do not understand the Kamara love.
That the value is going to go. I'm not going to take him either.
No.
He'd have to fall dramatically because, he'll miss games at some point. He missed 3 games last year, 4 games year before that. He missed a game. He missed 3 games. He missed so he had a couple of big seasons early on. He had that 14 touchdown season, he had 18 total that year. He also had a 21 touchdown season back in 2020. But it's I don't trust the Saints at all. And so that's where my issue is with that one. And I'm with you on that. Like, he's 30 years old. I think they love him because he gets passing. Yeah. He's in the passing game. Right.
He had 6 touchdowns. Like, I just think he's going way too high.
Yeah.
And I just think the Saints could be the worst team. Number one, they could be the worst team just flat out.
Yeah.
2, they may start tanking because they're going to need a quarterback. They have the worst quarterback. Kellen Moore, who's their head coach, is probably the best quarterback on their roster.
That's a great call by you. I never even thought about that. I think you're right on that one. Is there a quarterback that's busty to you that you're looking at and saying, you know what? I know he's getting drafted, but I'm not going to take him.
No, because I the only one that I don't really draft just because where he's going is Joe Burrow, but I think Joe Burrow is fine.
Yep.
He has no rushing upside, but if Joe Burrow was sliding down a round or 2, I'd love him. But I'm not going to not like if Burrow's there and if maybe I have it Chase Higgins. I'm not going to just avoid Burrow. I'll probably take him, but he'd have to fall. But I just like other players around that way. So there's really no quarterback.
Bo Nix? Is Bo Nix a top 10 quarterback this year? Because he's about the 10th quarterback off the board in most drafts.
Yeah, I'm not huge on Nix.
Right.
Like I just think I'd rather have Prescott over him. I think I like
Fields.
See, that's an interesting one.
Yeah.
Because I think Nix is on the better offense. I think you understand what their offense is going to do because they have the same coaching staff. I have no idea what Aaron Glenn's going to do. They've got a new offensive coordinator who's never called plays before.
Right.
The Jets aren't good, but I just like Field. I just have a thing in my heart for Fields that I think he could be a good quarterback. And I think his rushing upside is greater than Nix. Nix's rushing upside is more like what younger Mahomes, Aaron Rodgers were, where they're not design runs a lot. It's just if they go like 3rd and 8 and they go deep, he can go 15 yards here, so he can scramble. I think I'd rather have Fields.
Yeah, I think I would too.
Just for where you can get them. So Nix is a good call. He's probably the only one that I probably will not draft.
When you look at the wide receivers, this guy I'm going to mention, I can't call him a bust, but I think he could be a bust based on where you're drafting him right now, is Puka Nacua.
Okay.
The Stafford situation is not getting better.
No.
And I wouldn't want to have a quarterback in his mid-20s with a back issue. I sure as hell don't want a quarterback in his mid-30s with a back issue. That's concerning to me. Jimmy G would be the guy, and I'm telling you, it's almost like for McVay, it's almost if he can make Jimmy G a good quarterback with those, like if he can make that offense click without Matthew Stafford and Jimmy G, I will give him all the flowers. But I'm not convinced he can.
Yeah, I saw somewhere where, and I don't know, it was like a on X, like an insider, but I'd never heard of the insider. So sometimes you got to watch those insiders.
Yeah,
saying that he may have back surgery this year.
Yeah,
which that's not good.
No,
but McVay turned Baker into great, and now look at Baker. So I think what will happen if Stafford has to miss time the whole season, they'll start with Garoppolo, but they may just go with Bennett.
Yes, that's a Bennett. Yeah,
just because if they're like, so yeah, I'm not like Nacua in the first. Like Nakua's got all the talent.
Yeah.
I think though Adams could steal a lot of the touchdowns. So I'm really not wanting any of Nacua. There's another receiver since we're on that.
Yeah.
I'm the same way. Like he's not a bust. He's a good receiver. He's a 2nd-year guy, but I think the hype on him is getting out of control because I think what he did last year, he's not going to really go up anymore. And that's Ladd McConkey.
Yeah.
He's going as pick 25, wide receiver 11.
Right.
And he ended up as the wide receiver 12, 13 last year.
Yeah.
And here's the main reason why you want to think that we're kind of idiots. We dive into some stuff here. I'm a stat nerd. So Greg Roman, offensive coordinator there. Here's Greg Roman as offensive coordinator in his career in the NFL, where his number 1 wide receiver ended up. So last year, McConkey, wide receiver 13.
Right.
I think his ceiling's like wide receiver 8.
Okay.
In Baltimore, he was the offensive coordinator from 2019 to 2022. The wide receivers ended up wide receiver 64, wide receiver 22, wide receiver 36, wide receiver 46. In Buffalo, 2015 and 16, wide receiver 67, wide receiver 20.
This is their number 1 receiver.
This is their number 1 receiver.
All right.
Okay. In San Francisco, wide receiver 18, wide receiver 15. That was an Anquan Bolden, who is way better than Ladd McConkey. Yeah. If you don't think so, then you don't know Anquan Bolden. Only receiver, I think, to have 1,000-yard season for 3 different teams. And then also wide receiver 15, wide receiver 27, which is the lesser Michael Crabtree. So McConkey was the highest number 1 receiver he produced in his offense. And I think the running game is a little bit better. And if you go back in 11 to 14, I believe that's when Harbaugh was there.
Probably right. Yep.
So they worked together and it was 18, 15, 15, 27 with better receivers. So I just think they're a run team. Taking him as the wide receiver 11, I just don't think I just don't think it's gonna work out.
Yeah, I think that's a great point. I think you're right on that one. I don't see it either. And that was a guy that McConkey, in the drafts I did this weekend and the auction I did this weekend, it's like I had options to take him. It's like in the wide receiver 14 or 15 range, I could have taken him, right? And I still passed on him. It's not somebody, he'll be okay, but the draft capital you have to put towards him, it's way too damn much.
Yeah,
I'm not going to do it.
I think he had 88 receptions last year. I don't like. He's not going to. If he gets 12 more receptions, what's that going to be like? Maybe 3 more touches. Like I just don't see. I don't think the volume is going to be there.
All right, that's it for the He's Drafty Musts and Busts. He is at Chad Ochorinco on Twitter. I am at Fit Happens. Folks, get closer to draft day. Follow us on Twitter. And if you have any questions, fire them off to us there. Go to fantasydraftproxies.com if you want help with your draft. We are guns for hire there. And thanks so much, Fantasy Sports. Download the free app for Apple and Android users. Check that out. And we are Fantasy Sports powered by DSP Media. This has been Fantasy Football Island.